Hi guys, and welcome to the next instalment of my Southeast Asia travel series. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining me, and this trip actually kicked off in Vientiane, the capital of Laos. If you missed the last episode, here's a quick catch up. I actually joined a G Adventures tour to navigate the length of Laos, trekking north through the landscapes of Vang Vieng and the stunning waterfalls and temples of Luang Prabang. The real standout for me though was our journey up the Mekong River by slow boat. We even spent a night at a local homestay, which was easily one of the most authentic experiences of the trip so far. From there, the tour crossed the border into northern Thailand, where our first stop was a breathtaking white temple in Chiang Rai, an absolute must-see if you're in the region. Heading further south to Chiang Mai, I put my culinary skills to the test, taking a Thai cooking class where I learnt to make some of my favourite Thai dishes. We then experienced the overnight train heading down to Bangkok, where I finished my time in Thailand. I'd originally planned to get a train from Bangkok into Siem Reap, Cambodia. However, because of the conflict at the time between Thailand and Cambodia, the border was closed to tourists, so I had to fly instead. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I did, because I got to see this brand new airport. It had literally been open for 4 months when I landed there. I did feel quite honoured that I was only one of a few tourists in the airport at the time, but I'm sure it won't be long until the airport is thriving and full of tourists when people realise just how much Cambodia has to offer. Despite being very late when I arrived, I was greeted by around 100 tuk-tuk drivers eagerly waiting to take me to my hotel. So I took one of those. It only cost me around $10 to get the tuk-tuk from the airport into the main town. Unlike my usual vlogs, this one starts on a rather sad note, and we're going to be addressing Cambodia's dark history. Between 1975 and 1979, Cambodia fell into one of the darkest chapters of the 20th century. After a bloody civil war, a radical communist group called the Khmer Rouge, led by a man named Pol Pot, seized power. Their goal? To reset society to year zero and create a peasant-led farming utopia. In 1975, the Khmer Rouge took over a suburban high school in Phnom Penh and converted it into a high-security prison, known as S21. It was the most infamous of 196 interrogation centres operated by the Khmer Rouge. They covered the balconies in electrified barbed wire to prevent suicides and turned classrooms into tiny windowless brick cells or mass detention chambers. The inmates were subjected to brutal physical and psychological torture, including waterboarding, electric shocks and beatings, to force them to confess to being CIA or KGB spies. Every prisoner was photographed and their biographies were meticulously recorded. These haunting black and white portraits are now the most famous evidence of the site's history. Once the inmates' confessions were signed, they were then taken to the killing fields. There were over 300 killing fields across Cambodia, and this is one of them. To maintain the purity of their revolution and save money, the Khmer Rouge followed a chilling set of rules. High-ranking officials ordered that no ammunition was wasted. Victims were killed using whatever was available: sharpened bamboo sticks, pickaxes, shovels, or even jagged edges of palm leaves. Victims were buried in pits, some containing hundreds of bodies. Perhaps the most haunting sight of them all, though, is this tree. The killing tree. The Khmer Rouge believed in a ruthless philosophy. To stop the weeds from growing back, you must pull up the roots. This meant that if an adult was executed, their entire family, including infants, had to be killed to prevent them from seeking revenge later. The soldiers took the babies and infants and beat them against the tree until they were dead. They would then throw the bodies into the adjacent pit. This tree was known as a magic tree, but there was nothing magical about it. Loudspeakers were hung from the branches to play patriotic music, to drown out the screams of people being executed nearby. Even to this day, after heavy rains, fragments of bones and even clothing rise to the surface of the killing fields. By the time the regime was overthrown in 1979, an estimated 2 million people, that's nearly a quarter of the population, had died from execution, starvation or disease. It remains one of the most concentrated and brutal genocides in human history. I've been asked before why I visit places like this when I travel, but I think it's really important to remember to learn about it and educate others in the hope that this never happens again. I hope you didn't find this section of the video too distressing. I'm now going to bring the tone up a little bit, starting off with a quick taste test. Here we have a local Cambodian dish. It's called beef lob block, Cambodian premium lager. Yeah, it looks good. Oh, that's so good. The sauce is really rich. The beef is cooked perfectly. After a very sad and reflective day visiting S21 and the killing fields, I decided to bring up my spirits by drinking lots of spirits. The Cambodian currency, the riel, is quite weak compared to the British pound, so you have to carry around a fair few notes, and I find it much easier to label the notes out just so I can count it out properly. That cocktail actually cost me £4.20. As with any good night out, I finished it off with some greasy food and then hit the sack.
Right, moving on from Phnom Penh. It's a nice place, but I don't really think there's that much to do here, to be honest. People may say otherwise, but for me personally, I want to go to the more rural, less touristy places. So I'm going to a place called Battambang next. I've booked a coach, so I'm just walking to the station now with all my stuff, trying not to get killed by motorbikes. I've not had the greatest stomach either, so I've had to get some electrolyte from the pharmacy. Luckily there's loads of pharmacies everywhere, and she knew what I meant, so there's one just right over there. There's one there. I guess need a lot of medicine over here. I'm going to check in now. I'm a bit early, but I want to get some food before I leave, because it takes about 5 hours to get there, I think.
I went for a hunt for some food, and this is what I found. Didn't eat them. Definitely didn't eat them. I ain't eating them, and I didn't eat her. Looks like I'm going hungry.
Battambang, here we come.
And just as I thought I was going to waste away, the kind lady on the bus gave me a croissant and a bottle of water, so I was well happy with that.
Taking my time as the sun it shines on me and everyone that has come to find. This world is cruel, but there's nothing new. Living in the moment is the only truth. But let's go slow. Living in the moment is the only truth. But let's go slow. Salted towns are where I'd rather be.
We made it to Battambang, and yeah, this is the hostel. So we've got a couple of showers, and then this is where I'm staying, just down here. And it was, how much was it? £3.27. Can't complain.
Whether you want to call me stupid or just plain reckless, Battambang had actually been listed as a place you shouldn't be visiting because of the conflict going on. But I was a little bit naive to it. I don't tend to watch the news very much, and I don't listen to the media because it's mainly just lies, and only bad news sells. So I just wanted to visit Battambang, and fortunately I didn't get caught in any crossfire. If you've ever been to Hue in Vietnam, I would say Battambang's very similar. It's a quaint countryside village, and I think they focus mainly on farming, and then they have small factories like this one here where they make rice paper. So we had a chance to make some rice paper for the spring rolls, and then we ate some, of course, fresh or fried.
Oli, you wanna do?
The next stop was a rather stinky one.
The smell is so bad.
Feed in the pond. No, feed in the pond. The pond. Yeah, the pond like small fish like that.
This is actually a fish paste factory, and it was quite interesting to see the process of making the fish paste. Diesel smoked fish paste, if only you could smell through your screens. Next up, we stopped at a rice wine factory, and of course we had to try some rice wine. Don't worry, it was only 60% proof.
Yeah. 60%. Very strong.
The waste rice from the distilling process is actually used as pig food, but the thing is it's still got a little bit of alcohol in it, so it can make the pigs a little bit tipsy. Although that's supposed to be quite good to make the meat nice and tender, so cheers to that.
Nasabia. Nasabia.
Careful you don't drink too much of that stuff or else you will go blind. Wait a minute, where are you going, Ollie? Not that way. And the most popular tourist attraction of Battambang, the bamboo train. Oh, braver than me! All the wheels are gonna fall off! Oh, f*** off. The wheels did come off actually, quite a few times, so we could let these things go by. I'm not sure what they are, but that one had a tree growing out of it. And to finish this day off, we went up to the viewpoint to watch the sunset across the valley. There was a beautiful temple on the top, there were a few monkeys around, and it was just a lovely finish to the perfect day. As much as the sunset and viewpoint at the top was spectacular, it was a race against the clock now to get back down to the base of the mountain. But why the rush? Well, because at the foot of the mountain is actually a hidden gateway, and right at the edge of dusk, the night shift takes over. Unlike many humans I know, bats are actually very punctual. Approximately 15 to 30 minutes after sunset, millions of bats pour out of the entrance to the cave. They form a massive glimmering black ribbon across the sky as they head out to hunt for the night. I had a really great time doing this tour and I'd highly recommend it to anybody. You don't need that long in Battambang because there isn't really too much to see there. It's more of a rural, off the beaten track destination if you like. But if you like the countryside and you want to experience more rural Cambodia, get yourself to Battambang, you won't regret it. Right, we're up at 4 AM to go and see the sunrise at Angkor Wat in Siem Reap. Tuk-tuk, I think it is, picking us up in a minute. Let's go and have a look. It's an unholy time to get up though, so early. Deep in the heart of Cambodia lies the Angkor Archaeological Park, which is a sprawling 400 square kilometre testament to the heights of the Khmer Empire. And while Angkor Wat is the crown jewel, this isn't just a single monument, it's actually a massive network of over 1,000 temples.
You know what are they doing, everyone? They are churning the sea of milk.
To explore the temples of Angkor is to walk through centuries of shifting faith. Each site across the complex has its own soul, some built to honour Hindu gods, while others as Buddhist monasteries. Perhaps the most atmospheric stop in the entire park, and my personal favourite, is Prohm. Famously used as a backdrop for Tomb Raider, this 12th century monastery was intentionally left in much the same condition it was found. Here the power of nature is on full display, with trees growing directly out of the ruins. And if we've got any Angelina Jolie fans watching, this is that famous tree from the film, so you can recreate the scene and get your Instagram shots. And if you've ever played Temple Run the game, this is the temple it's based on. You can buy multi-day passes for the Angkor Wat complex, so you can explore all of the temples at your own leisure. Depending on how interested you are in the archaeology, I would suggest getting at least a 2-day pass. I think that's the minimum you can get anyway. And if you book onto a tour, they cover the 3 main temples, so Angkor Wat of course, the Tomb Raider temple, which is Prohm, and the Other Faces temple, which I showed you. But I'd recommend spending another day there just so you can explore some of the smaller temples as well, because they are truly amazing. After a really early start, I was glad to be back by the pool, sipping a beer. 50p beers at that. This is the Wonders hostel I stayed at in Siem Reap, and it has to be one of the nicest hostels I've ever stayed in. It had not 1, not 2, but 3 swimming pools, and depending on your budget, you can either go for a dormitory or you can have a private room, which is pretty affordable too. In actual fact, all of the Wonders hostels I stayed in Cambodia were lovely, apart from the one I stayed in on Koh Rong, but that wasn't to do with the hostel itself and more to do with somebody staying in my dorm. So I'll tell you all about that story in the next video. Stay tuned.
Hello. If you couldn't tell by the way I look, it was a heavy night last night.
Like and subscribe.
I'm so flipping confused. How do I get out of this place? Is there another exit? So I'm just going down to the riverside to get some food. I find it's a bit cheaper there actually. They've got the street food stalls.
A nice easy street food option I was having was the yellow noodle stir fry with either chicken or beef. You could just get it with vegetables as well, and it was so tasty. It comes with like a gravy sauce, and it was only $3.50 from most street food places. So I'd highly recommend trying that. The following day I'd booked a tour to go and see the floating villages. I didn't really know what to expect from this experience, but it was a humbling one at that. Leaving the beauty of the temples behind, the Tonle Sap was a major reality check. Seeing how these families live with so little, yet so much incredible spirit, was easily the most humbling part of this trip. It's easy to look at poverty and feel sorry for them, but honestly, after spending time here, I just felt a massive amount of respect. Their lives are dictated by the water, and they meet every challenge with a level of resilience I'm not sure I could ever match.
My brother, how was your boat ride?
Oh, lovely.
Good?
Yeah.
One at a time, okay? Stand up in the center. Front feet.
Visiting the floating villages is a powerful lesson in gratitude. It's a place where life is stripped back to the basics, reminding me that so much of what I call a necessity is actually a luxury. Everyone here seems to be so happy, yet they have so little, and seeing the strength and joy here really shifts your focus from being frustrated by what you want to being deeply thankful for what you already have. Later that same evening, I got a tuk-tuk to the coach station where I'd be getting the night bus down to Kampot, but that's going to be in the next video. So if you enjoyed this one, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and if you click that alarm bell and set notifications to all, you'll be notified when I post new videos. And next time, I'll be exploring Kampot. We're then going to get a very bumpy ride down to the islands, visiting Koh Rong, Salom, and then I'm going to get a flight over to Singapore to check out the best airport in the world. So stay tuned for that, it's going to be a hell of a ride.